Alright. Okay, I'm recording now. So first pick Elise for TL. CLG responds with Flex Gragas, Caitlyn. I like that. That's some spicy memes. I don't know why that's a meme, but the Karma pick, I don't like that so much. It doesn't matter. Okay, they take Varus. Oh, nope. They do another thing where they take top champion. And now what they're doing is they're giving CLG the ability to target ADCs, but maybe Piglet doesn't care about that. They just want to get the Renekton and maybe force CLG to show their hand with the top laner before tops could potentially be banned out. CLG now responding with Nami as the counter to Karma, maybe not giving Team Liquid the respect to be able to flex that Karma into mid lane, even though Piglet is definitely capable of being supported by a Protect the X comp. So that is definitely something that they could go into. First ban is targeted at Ashe, so it's something that CLG is not even really entertaining as a possibility, or at least they're not worried about it. And Shen gets banned away. Varus now targeted. And so if TL actually did have the ability to flex the Karma to mid and go for Protect the X comp, this would have been really good. Because you could have, I mean, well, it's like nothing really hit you. That would have been nice. LeBlanc gets banned away. They don't want that as a counter. What does that mean? Does that mean GoldenGlue? There's a few champions you could pick here, but to remove LeBlanc specifically as a counter is interesting. CLG hovering Warwick. And they swap into Ivern. Okay. So now they show that the Gragas is indeed top lane, so it's going to be Renekton versus Gragas. They still had the luxury of being able to flex that into jungle. And so had CLG for some reason shown the mid laner here, this could have made some stuff, or it could have made stuff a little bit awkward for TL. Wait a minute, Twitch. Oh, this is awkward. I mean, if they were going to pick Twitch, then why? I don't understand. It's whatever. Oh, I'm not in full screen. They pick Ari. And CLG responds with Syndra. Alright, let's skip forward ahead into game. I think that the real big problem here for TL, though, is that they didn't pick Annie. I think that's definitely the biggest glaring error I can see from draft. Oh god, wait a minute, we already have Chaos? Alright, let me just start. Here we go. What is going on? They're trying to mess with Ivern. Ends up backfiring. Aphromoo is here in the bottom lane. If GoldenGlue dies, it's not even his fault yet again. Well, wait. Let's review. GoldenGlue comes over. GoldenGlue should have gone right. Yeah, and then Aphromoo's there. I mean... This isn't GoldenGlue's fault. This really isn't his fault. This is like that time in solo queue where the mid laner starts raging out loud. He's like, these fucking idiots. Like, I just want to play a normal lane. And now he's really far behind without flash. It makes it extremely easy for Dardoch to actually gank him. And that's something that's extremely scary when you consider the Syndra dynamic. Let's remember that we're not doing super hardcore analysis here. We're not doing this like, we're mostly viewing this from the angle of like what is obvious things that could happen, like obvious, like glaringly obvious, right? And then we're assessing it from the point of, is GoldenGlue to blame? Or like we're trying to evaluate like what is the main glaringly obvious problems that TL is having. Okay, GoldenGlue's behind in farm, but what are you going to do with what happened level 1? You have to be definitely a lot more respectful, and then on top of that, Rainover's not really going to be able to aid him too much, and Dardoch's able to get away with a lot. The 3-camp clear by Rainover is also really interesting relative to what's happening in mid lane and what's happening up in top lane. And you can see that he's transitioning now into getting wolves. Now Piglet and Matt are caught being zoned off the wave, and now all Dardoch has to do, place a ward. And I mean, if he could just delay them getting back into, look at this, look at this shit. This is like, if you've ever wanted to know what fuckery looks like, it's this, right? Because all Dardoch had to do is he could just fuck with them. His mid laner is ultra far ahead. Top lane is basically immune to a gank right now. There's absolutely no way that they can actually kill Darshan up in top, okay? So when you know this, and you have the ward right here, and you have a pretty good fucking idea that Elise has to be on the left-hand side of the map, so then all that Hui has to do is play right-hand side pocket of the lane, and then if Dardoch just actually denies them coming back into the lane, Stixxay and Aphromo will get a really big edge. But instead he recalls. And the issue that I have with the recalling is that realistically Lorlo shouldn't be able to die to a gank, because you should know that Elise has control of the left-hand side. There's going to be a Scuttle Crab captured. There might even be like Blasting Plant, or not Blasting, might be a Scryer Plant taken. You could have wards on your Wraiths. You could even have wards on your Golems. Like you do. What? Whoa. All right. You'll get them next time. Shit. All right. All right. And this is the problem that I have with Dardoch's route. Is like, do you really value recalling and then just going to the golems right there? It's not necessary. Your mid laner is so far ahead. You could have just definitely gotten your bottom lane, extremely far ahead as well. Doran Shield's a great item, by the way. I just wanted to let you guys know that. If Doran Shield existed in the Tempo Storm shop, you could definitely get 10% off using the checkout code TEMPO. You can still get 10% off, by the way. Okay. So, I mean, GoldenGlue's down in farm, but that's to be expected. Lorlo. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, mid gets shoved in by Hui, and of course there's no response because what's Rainover doing? Let's look at the recall timing on Ahri. So GoldenGlue's saying that he needs to recall, and they're looking for a gank down and bottom after he's shoved in mid wave. Rainover is entering, and there was no way to do anything. And it was obvious that there was no way to do anything from, I mean, even right here, it's still impossible. It's not possible. You can't do anything. Matt pulled the trigger too hard. Piglet's never going to be able to dish out DPS. They still have heal. From this angle, all that's going to end up happening is you're going to fuck the lane, steal XP from Piglet and Matt. There's no reason that Reignover shouldn't have possibly just gone mid lane to hold it for his mid laner and absorbed some XP from it. Because he has nothing else to do. If you go down to golems, you're giving up too much control and initiative, and you're surrendering the left-hand part of the map that you know that Ivern has to be on. And the reason that we can know that Ivern has to be on it is the game timer relative to you understanding exactly when Ivern's camps are going to come back up, so it doesn't make any sense. Of course Ivern is somewhere inside of this rectangle. He's always inside of this rectangle. And you're giving up too much control and initiative. Now, if the gank could have worked, that's one thing. Like, if they could have gotten, like, a double kill here, and then it doesn't matter that Ivern can come in to the left-hand side, and then it doesn't matter that Syndra shoves in, because the amount of pressure that's created inside of bottom lane detracts from the problems that are going on elsewhere on the map. And, yeah, he's on a ward. There you go. He's on a ward. People aren't realizing that I'm talking about, like... I'm talking about... Oh, God. Why do people take stuff so literal? I'm saying generically, this is the thought process that is going to be applicable to the mass majority of situations. Yeah, now Lorlo forced to flash away. Gets rooted. Lorlo goes down for first blood. I mean, there's nothing GoldenGlue could do here. But if Reignover was in mid, then could have contained Hui. It's credit to CLG, though, ultimately, right? You can angle that comment from both ways. Really good by Aframu and 6A. They read out the only response that's available. Because when you're looking at it like this, okay, mid gets shoved in. You have a pink ward here. You know that they can't come onto the left-hand side of the map. You know that Lorlo doesn't have any sort of... he gets no value out of teleporting. So now all that you have to do, if you're Aframu and 6A, is you're like, oh, okay, our team just got first blood on top. They zoned Lorlo out of, like, 2 waves. Maybe they can zone him out of, like, 3. All right. So then you do 2 or 3 times X equals X, right? Or not X, well, you know what I'm saying. And you also got this for value, right? So you're not just getting the first blood gold plus the first blood assist gold. You're also getting all the negative gold that TL is never able to get again. You're able to get the experience lead, and you're able to get the fact that they have no appropriate response in mid lane. And the only thing that they can do is go bottom. So when all that they can do is go bottom, all that you do is you prevent that type of play or gank from ever happening just by backing up. Because the value that they get out of it is not enough. Now, in some cases, obviously, you can factor in that the CS and XP loss that Lorlo experienced by dying is then, you know, fixed by the CS and XP loss that CLG loses in bottom lane, and then it returns back to the original first blood gold plus first blood assist. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be a beneficial trade for CLG because of the way that it happens and the champions involved. That was really good. Alright. Only a 200 gold difference. I don't need to see this again. GoldenGlue has almost caught up in CS. The only way that we can maybe warrant Golden... Like, who's the shot caller? I can't imagine that it's GoldenGlue. Maybe he's like a secondary shot caller or something, right? But if you're going to remove him in the next series, then that must suggest that there's someone else that's more vocal. That just wouldn't make any sense. Yeah, shoving that in. Okay, charm. I mean, at this point in the game, TL are in a really rough spot. Because what ends up, Team Liquid doesn't have the ability to stand toe-to-toe in the mid-game, not against the Syndra and the Caitlyn. And the effectiveness of low economy on the Gragas and the Ivern is just way too much for the Elise and the Renekton, so everything's really bad. Like, the gold value would suggest at the top that the game is close. Okay, this game is anything but close right now. This is really, really bad spot to be in if you're Team Liquid. You can't really do anything. I mean, all CLG has to do is they just need to glide this out for like the next 5-6 minutes, and then it's gonna be golden. I'm not talking about GoldenGlue. Hello. Huh? Okay. What? Just go around. Why did you go up? I mean, just go. Well, I mean, you're achieving the same thing, I guess. He's achieving the same thing. It doesn't matter. Okay. So now they're gonna get the teleport out of Gragas, which is gonna give them teleport advantage. Well, actually, it might not TP. Okay. Does choose to TP. It wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered if TL get the turret here. It really wouldn't. Teleporting to it is really strange. And now TL are rotating up Ahri, and they're suggesting to kill him. That was good. That was good by Lorlo. And in the meanwhile, though, they're losing. Oh, all right. You know what? All right. All right. This is just bad. I mean, Lorlo played this like, you know, starting the aggro, slice and dicing, holding for one extra shot. I mean, that's all good. That's all good and peachy. The problem is that the issue with calling for the play itself is horrendous. Right? Because you don't actually have... If these minions didn't instantly die, the play is fine. That's ultimately the big problem. Yeah, this is just really bad. So it ends up working out for CLG, but it's because TL is killing themselves. This isn't CLG outplaying Team Liquid. This is Team Liquid outplaying themselves. He just goes to top lane? That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the turret goes down. I mean, I guess the ghost is gonna come up. So let's think about it. Let's see when he's ghosting. All right. When does he cast the ghost? Casts it from right here. This goes on for about another 20 seconds. This goes on for another 20 seconds, plus 8 seconds for recall, but then you have to factor in the backup speed. Are they going to go for Dragon? No. Oh, they could. Oh, the ghost doesn't matter. In the grand scheme, like... Because the assumed rotation that's gonna occur around 11 minutes to like 11 minutes and 20 seconds is that because blue buff isn't up and because Syndra's already as far ahead as she is, you can then just put actually Hui, Stixxay, and Aphromoo in mid lane, and you can have Dardoch play the left-hand side because the bottom half of the map is now irrelevant, especially because it's an Ocean Drake, and all of these wards are redundant, right? So then what ends up happening is you have Darshan up in top lane, and then you put everyone here, and then you play Dardoch on the left-hand side, and then you use that to capture Herald and assert pressure onto mid lane, and you pull Reignover out of the jungle and don't allow him to farm up, which plays into the fact that Ivern is a low-economy jungler. Right, we don't need to see this again. It's irrelevant. CLG elected to take the Ocean Drake. It wasn't necessary. It's an option, but it's not necessary. And this is actually enabling Team Liquid to potentially get the Herald if CLG doesn't read it in time. What TL's doing right now is the best thing that they can do. So this is actually fine. Concede mid-tier 1. Don't even try to save it, GoldenGlue. Just let it die. Just let it die. Just let it die. Just let it die. Okay. Alright. CLG's misplaying this as well. Just let it die. Alright. You should have just let it die. He should have just let it die. They're not losing anything if he dies. The turret isn't gonna cause the end of the game. And if anything, it actually forces CLG to, you know, overextend in the future, because TL now, like, if we open up, I mean, I could open up Rift Kit, right? But let's say that you give up this turret, okay, and then you let this turret die. What ends up happening now is that you have a very condensed area to defend from. And because there's no neutral objectives on the map, you get so much value from just waiting, which then plays into your Twitch. And now they're just A-ramming. This is just sloppy play. This is just really bad play. No, I'm kidding, it was good, it was good. Oh, please. I know I'm watching TL, I need a drink too, don't worry. Oh, thank God. Oh. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Alright, they're sending Twitch. Now, I don't like that TL is... Ow. They're trying to be a little bit too proactive with the lanes. There's a lot of jungle camps up that they could be eating. It's not the end of the world. Doesn't really matter. Low shoves the lane. He needs to recall, but instead of recalling, you should probably go and kill Gromp, to be completely honest. There's nothing coming up in the next few moments that really puts a lot of stress on TL. They should be extremely content to just wait. Infernal Drake's a bitch. Now they're calling for this play. This is too forced. There's no reason to force these plays. There's absolutely zero. They're panicking. That's literally all that's happening right now. They're completely panicked. GoldenGlue doesn't have his item yet. No one cares, Piglet, that you have the Blade of the Ruin King. Okay, Renekton needs more time to get more items. You are running into a Syndra and a Caitlyn at an extremely strong point for them against two extremely potent low economy champions. So if no one has any gold, then it's going to benefit CLG a lot more than it's going to benefit you. Like, Dragon was still 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes away, didn't need to take a team fight, farm the jungle camps, wait for the waves to come into you, eat them, and then look to take a fight around Dragon if you can hit your, you know, your core items. And that's going to probably be the best shot that you have. Okay, TL uses Herald Bot. All right. Okay, so now, if you're CLG, all that you want to do is try to set up around Dragon. Lorlo has TP, and so does Darshan, so you can just let them fucking stalemate up in top lane. CLG wants to set up vision control around the Dragon. It's extremely important for both parties, more so for Team Liquid than it is for CLG. CLG mostly wants to get it just to deny it, because the only real value that they're getting out of it is on Syndra and Caitlyn, whereas Team Liquid gets value out of it on almost everyone. Alright, so now let's take a look at what's going on here. Alright, Dragon's coming up in 15 seconds. Darshan already has moved down. GoldenGlue shouldn't be this far up, ever. Shouldn't be that far up. But see, the problem here is it his fault for being this far up? You could say yes. You could say that, okay, this micro instance is his fault. The problem is that there's a lot of instances that occur like this across multiple players for Team Liquid in different scenarios, right? That's not their fault. Like, because no one's directing them. No one's telling them any better. One of the main problems, right, is what is being said to them in champ select, like lobby, right? Like, what is being said about the team compositions, and what is being said about, like, strategy, like, you know, at different points of the game. Because it doesn't seem like they have a clear understanding of, like, what is... They don't know how to prioritize things. That's the most glaringly obvious thing for me. So, like, right here, they're looking to set up a pick. Okay? So let's just see this. So GoldenGlue gets chunked. He gets hit by the Syndra. Alright. Now they back off. See the Ivern. Now, Drake's about to spawn in 2 seconds, and CLG actually is mispositioning. Like, the Drake could have already been started. Drake could have been started. Because you know that CLG doesn't have their blue trinket. So you could have actually just started Drake. You could start it, and then if they come in, then they funnel. They funnel into Twitch's ultimate, right? And Lorlo would have a natural flank because of the angle of approach that CLG would be forced to take. Now, you can also say that the angle of this is really advantageous for CLG, right? They're going to get the traps down. They're going to have the Nami tidal wave head this way. Daisy is going to act as a blockade. He's going to absorb skill shots and whatever else if you need him to. And then Gragas is able to be a true tank. But the problem is with it is that because there's no real, there's no minion wave in mid, and top lane is horrendous right now for CLG. If they don't win the fight, if they win the fight or they get the dragon, CLG's top lane is absolutely fantastic. This is actually a really, really beautiful top lane. But that's assuming that CLG knows what to do and that they execute on it correctly. So if Team Liquid was already starting the Infernal Drake, you look at you know, bottom lane and how bottom lane currently is. You look at mid lane and where the minion waves are, and you notice that there's no Baron up, there's no Herald up, there's nothing for CLG to do. So this actually should have been a scenario where even if it's like a 60-40 on Drake, that's probably the best scenario that they can get given the current status of the map, or you know, the current state of the game. That's what they should have been doing. The pick is ridiculous. Even if CLG would come in, right? If TL can then just dance from this angle, they have the wave to fall back to, and they have the fact that CLG is losing out here and CLG is losing out here. So there's you know, like, sometimes it's probably better to get hit by a punch than get fucking shot by a gun, you know. And even if they were gonna lose out, it wasn't gonna be as bad. But instead, they elect to go for a pick. I don't know who called for it. It was a horrible idea. Really bad decision, and now it leads to CLG getting a lot more value out of that fight. And look at the top lane now. Because CLG won, and because there was no stalemate, and there was no dance in front of the dragon or whatever, Darshan gets rewarded. Jesus Christ, you're unsufferable. What? So now at this point, Team Liquid is A-ramming mid, with the exception of Twitch, and this is probably the best they can get. They're sending Lorlo up into top lane, though. That's an error. Lorlo should probably just eat wolves, and then you have Twitch recall, and you have Twitch go top lane. All of your eggs need to be in the Twitch basket right now. Literally everything, experience and gold-wise, probably just needs to be in the Twitch basket. You could have just had Lorlo eat, like, Scuttle Crab, Wolves, Gromp, or something, if you want to keep Elise in mid lane. Twitch instead is getting red buff. He's getting a buff that he's not going to be able to use. It's really good efficiency on it. Getting a lot of experience right there. He's going to waste a good portion of the buff's duration by immediately recalling. Yeah, that's really good. That was a powerful recall. Dagger and Brawler's Club. Superb. Really well communicated. Now let's go top lane and share XP as a team together as 5. I think that's a really good idea. The reality is that Twitch could have been here. Right here, right? Twitch finishes the CS, recall. He hits Fountain at 1835. He moves immediately off Fountain because all he has to do is mana recharge. Alright, so let's follow Twitch. Alright, alright. Renekton is on Wolves, by the way. Okay, Twitch is here. And Twitch is getting this wave. Wolves are gone. Maybe Gromp's gone. Maybe there's a ward here. Wave is killed. Renekton is in close proximity to Twitch. Gragas can't approach from this angle, neither can CLG. And this wave can't get used. LS, it wouldn't happen like that. CLG would definitely be able to respond. No, they actually don't have a say in this. There is actually no say for CLG. CLG doesn't have any input that they can add to the situation. Because GoldenGlue would not be in mid. GoldenGlue would be waiting until the wave gets to here. Elise would be waiting till the wave gets to here. They would have a ward right here. Elise and Nami can, or Elise and Karma can zone off anyone from trying to enter here, forcing them to wrap around the long way. Alright, let's just go forward. Alright, now we're going to move back as a team. And by the way, I'm not saying that there aren't teams that make mistakes like this. This is actually stuff that it can be very difficult to coach out of players, especially if it's ingrained in their habits and they play a solo queue which doesn't support proper play. But again, to say again, we are looking at this from the perspective of, is it GoldenGlue's fault? GoldenGlue going top, probably not a good idea right here. Is this GoldenGlue's fault? Might not. Oh, wait a minute. How big's that wave? Wait. I can't see. Looks like there's more spellcaster minions for the top wave for red side. If that... Wait. Hold on. Now it's dying. Wait. Fuck! I need to see this. If this wave was going to push into Team Liquid, then GoldenGlue going top is incorrect. GoldenGlue should stay mid. And the reason that I say that is because, again, all the eggs in the Twitch basket. Alright, now they're A-ramming. I'm gonna actually change the speed of this game because this is too slow. we're not gonna try to hack this and go X4, X8 right now. Alright. Top lane looks like it's coming into TL, and yet again they were sending GoldenGlue. Oh, it's definitely coming into TL. So when they know that top lane's coming into them, the main focus and priority should have been on making sure that this area right here never gets penetrated. Bottom lane's irrelevant right now. It's completely irrelevant. Low being in the split is the only thing that, you know, adds any sort of pressure against CLG. Getting zoned out of mid lane like this is completely unnecessary. Alright, and then rain over. Game over. You know what I'm saying? Right now we're going tanky now. I think that's fine. Low pushing. And CLG is telling them that, okay, we're going to get the turret. They get the turret. Low, what? No. Alright, so the teleport comes in. This is another one of those instances where they could lose middle inhibitor and it doesn't change anything, right? Especially because they're blue side this time around. So when you think about losing middle inhibitor, you're never passing this point anyway. And now all that we're gonna do is draw like this, right? This is your angle of defense. Losing middle inhibitor only means that if you lose a team fight, it's all over. That's just something that we can point out. They use the teleport to try to protect the middle inhibitor, but the problem is that all that it changes is now there's not super minions. It's literally it. Mid inhib is extremely over. Like, it's not over. Look, you lose it anyway, Jesus. But, well, that sounds really bad. That sounds result based. But middle inhibitor is really, really overvalued. Like, from a strategical standpoint, it's worth, but it's not worth losing your life over, you know? And I think that blowing the teleport there and not getting some pressure and getting something, I think is sort of pointless. Because watch what ends up happening now for the next few moments, even though middle inhibitor's down. Let's just watch how the game unfolds. CLG actually taking Cloud Drake I think is bad. I think that's actually a very bad choice. And the reason that I say that is because if they leave it up on the map, you know that Team Liquid, so remember I talked about the angle of defense or whatever. Team Liquid, because the angle is on the left-hand side, and this is the area of the map that they will be playing inside of, it is too obnoxious for TL to go out of their way to get the Cloud Drake, which means that Team Liquid can now just wait until the point where if you kill the Drake, the Elder Dragon spawns, but instead what they end up doing is CLG gets the Cloud Drake, and now another Dragon will spawn, and then Elder Dragon will spawn. And that actually, that doesn't really play into the narrative of trying to kill them before Twitch gets out of control. So that's an error. Well, it's an error, but, like, that's something that you would, like, nitpick. Yeah, this is another misunderstanding of, like, what you need to be doing. They should just go, I mean, if you're not going to have Lorlo split anymore because he doesn't have TP, then you should just go triple blue trinket. Because you don't need that many wards to control the vision in your left side jungle. And this doesn't make any sense. Whoever's calling to defend this pocket, it's not good. This is really bad. Alright, middle inhibitor. So, this is a fight. Now, imagine middle inhibitor wasn't down. Holy shit. Look at this. They end up getting Caitlyn. And Stixay and Syndra are like the two core parts. Jesus. It's a fiesta. Like, what changes by middle being? It doesn't change anything. This is so fortunate that they got that onto Caitlyn. Then they end up killing Ahri. And then they manage to escape. So this is what I meant by the mid inhib doesn't change anything. Literally changes nothing. The only way that it changed anything is if Stixxay doesn't die there and CLG win the entire fight. But even if it wasn't down, they could still probably get mid inhibitor. And then even without a super minion, it depends on the recall timers and whatever to maybe get an Nexus turret or something. But that's irrelevant because at that point, all that you're going to do is you want Baron anyway, right? If the timers aren't long enough, which they're not at this stage of the game. Unless it's a clean ace, unless it's like 5 for 0. And you still have like Daisy or whatever. So now they get top turret, CLG now moving around the map, much better than TL. They still can't put Lorlo in the split, although he should probably actually get ready to go to it right now. See, the problem is that now TL is pincered because you can't have anyone pick up this wave. This is sort of an awkward spot. You can have Lorlo pick it up, but Lorlo isn't the person that you want to pick this up. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to hold a stalemate here, like somewhere in this area, right? You want to hold a stalemate, wait for this wave to get down here, and then what you want to do is you want to allocate this entire wave over to Twitch somehow during like a CLG back timer, or you want to do it like when CLG can't go for the Baron. The problem is that the timing is so fucking thin, and again, the state of the map is horrendous, and CLG is actually being really intelligent with their Baron play here. Yeah. And TL can't handshake this. They can't handshake it. No, Lorlo, you should have went mid. No, Lorlo, you have TP. No! Look, losing this turret isn't the end of the game. Losing this turret isn't the end. You have flank teleport wards set up, and then Lorlo could have gotten this wave. That is definitely possible. If CLG overextend, but then somehow get pushed back by a teleport play and they get forced to run up here and recall, that actually creates the timing for Piglet to go down to bottom to get the wave, and then get the red buff, and then come back to mid, and then they can do a 1-4-0. They don't even actually need to do 1-4-0. They could do 0-5-0 into capturing the Infernal Drake. There's a lot of stuff that they could do right now, and TL drops the ball. So, not GoldenGlue. Not GoldenGlue's fault. I mean, these calls are all... Whoever's calling for it is to blame. So unless this is GoldenGlue calling for this... These calls are so weird. Like, to persist on. Like, you already got the Syndra, right? You got the Syndra, okay? Fix mid lane. Push them into their red side jungle. Fix mid. So immediately after Syndra goes down, right? Don't go over the wall, okay? Or if you do go over the wall, then go over it like lower, right? And push them back into the red side jungle. So here's what's gonna happen. Let me oh, fuck me. All right, let me get Riftkit. Riftkit.net. All right, here we go. All right, this is the current state of the map. Let's move this. Alright, so Syndra is dead. Jungler here. Top laner here. ADC support here. GoldenGlue here. Top laner is here. Fuck. ADC is here. Support is here. And jungler is here. Okay. So right now there is a mid wave right here. There's a big giant clusterfuck. Okay, right here. You have the bottom wave, which is advantageous to you. All right, it's pushing into you, so it's pushing in. And then you have a top lane, which is really fucking good for you because it's pushing in as well. So now what you want to do is you want to have Ahri come over the wall, and then you push them up, but don't chase them. You make them go into their red side jungle, okay? You now zone all the way back down here, and you have Lorlo go up into mid lane. You cut them off from being able to enter right here, and you force them to go all the way around the long way, or something like this, to get here. Meanwhile, Lorlo is able to get into mid lane. You pick up the mid lane, you escort it into the turret, you bulldoze it into the turret. You've established vision control on the left-hand side now of the river. After you get the turret, you have the team go down into Dragon, right? But not everyone. You don't need everyone. And so now this becomes a decision of how is CLG reacting? Because there's a few different situations that can play out here. If CLG comes to mid and then opts to go into the Infernal Drake, well, that's sort of actually weird. I don't think this is a situation that CLG would do. I think that realistically what's going to happen is CLG is going to eat their own jungle camps, and they're going to eat this and concede Infernal. If that's going to be the case, and TL is absolutely positive that CLG is not going to persist on to the right-hand side of the map, especially because they have absolutely no way of securing any sort of ward coverage on this side, like inside these 3 lines, there's no way that CLG can press on. And they don't want to funnel into this narrow corridor, so it's likely that TL is just going to be able to get the Infernal Drake. After that ends up happening, you can have whatever primary carry is still remaining at the Infernal come down here and then eat this, because CLG is still not in a spot relative to the death timer on Syndra to just immediately go over to Baron if the other 3 members just move into mid lane, because now they're asserting pressure on this side of the map. So while you're doing this, this is also an instance where now if you guys are over at the Dragon, you can then have Piglet actually recall, or you have GoldenGlue recall, and you have them go up to top lane and eat the top lane and begin pushing it out. And then again, you have the secondary carry, or you could even just have Lorlo do this if you want to have the teleport down in bottom lane. He comes here, he picks up the wave, and maybe he picks up the golems, and then depending on exactly how many resources he has and if he needs to recall, he can manipulate the wave in a way that, you know, begins to slow push back down into bottom, and now there's no neutral objective up here, and CLG are forced into playing this side of the map along with this and trying to control inside of this triangle all of the vision to go for the Baron. But mid lane now becomes even more important, because now if they lose a team fight, it's almost going to be guaranteed that they lose these 2 turrets at this part of the game if Twitch stays alive or if Lorlo stays alive. And because of the HP on this bottom turret, becomes good for TL. So that's the current state of the board. And instead, somehow CLG managed to secure themselves the Infernal Drake because there is a call to press on. Oh, wow, wait. Oh, no, okay. Yeah, now CLG goes down, they get Infernal Drake. I sort of don't want to watch that. Wait a minute, what? No, this is a desperation teleport. It's already too late. Oh! I mean, that's probably the... nah, this is not good. It's like probably the best angle that they could ever hope for. At that point, when CLG is funneled in. It's a desperation teleport, but the Baron plus the second Infernal Drake plus the presence of the Elder coming up next, the game is sort of already lost. I guess they don't really... No, I'm... God, yeah, I need a drink, actually. I actually do, after watching that Baron. Thank you. Alright. Let's just go forward again. Baron's coming in. CLG's being lazy. CLG's being really lazy. They're giving TL a lot of freedom for no reason. I mean, at this point as well, if CLG wants to be ultra safe, if they literally want to be Captain Careful, they just wait for the Elder. And this is why I talked about earlier capturing that Cloud Drake. Imagine if they had an Elder coming up right now, or if it was already on the map. Obviously, it plays out the entire dynamic leading up to it, but I'm just saying, like, hypothetically, there's probably a lot of situations that could occur where that would be advantageous for CLG, and that is definitely one way to play it out. All right, Elder's up. Wait, what? Yeah, now I think TL is basically doing everything that they can right here. GoldenGlue goes in for an assassination, not able to get it. And now 6A's here. I mean, see, you could maybe blame GoldenGlue for that, right? The game's already fucking over. Like, it's not over, right? But it really is. See, now this is where Reddit's like, they quote me and they're like, LS says, the game isn't really over. But it is. That's the quote that they hit me with. Let's just go back to the attempt. I mean, he has no mana. Can't do anything. I mean, that was probably the best chance they had because it's already obvious that all of TL has to recall. So the attempt is like the best thing they have to get an edge. Okay, now they're posturing. They could get out. They could get out, but instead they're posturing because they don't want to give anything up. And they don't know how to, you know, they didn't know how to base. They didn't know how to set this up. I mean, GoldenGlue was trying to save them. It doesn't matter that he failed. He's like the person in a horror movie that like tries to do the right thing, but it would have been better to just like let the fucking fat chick die. You know what I mean? Zombie apocalypse. He like turns around, he tries to save her. He's like, take my hand. It's like, no. You're actually just, you're trying to be too nice. Alright. They get Elder. Wait, what? Hold on. Oh. Alright, yeah, they have Elder, and TL goes for an all-in Baron. Rather than trying to wait for CLG to mess up the Baron dance, and rather than making CLG get funneled in... Alright, let's see. What's going on here? So wait a minute. GoldenGlue is the reason that they got Nami. Let's follow GoldenGlue in the fight. GoldenGlue is the reason they got Nami. I mean, he's in a really weird, like, he gets Nami, and then his follow-up positioning is bad. You can say that. You could say that he should have been more to the left. Right? Like, the angle should be them 5 right here in this corridor. That should be the angle, with bot and mid pushing. But instead he ends up dying. I mean, I guess this is all GoldenGlue's fault, too. That's GoldenGlue's fault, by the way. I just want to... Everyone, let's just slow down, zoom in on Twitch. That's his fault. Just want to let you guys know that. Sort of like anytime a top laner dies in solo queue, it's Dom's fault. By the way, I'm being sarcastic. That was definitely not GoldenGlue's fault. Alright, so, there's no way they defend, right? Yeah, there's no way. Okay. So, the final verdict here is, TL has way bigger fucking problems than anything that I was seeing inside of the mid lane. Whoever is shot calling and deciding where champions are going to go, and certain playmaking relative to the team compositions and, you know, what we're going to do based on, you know, the current state of the map and, you know, what color we are and what, the enemy team comp needs to do. Those are the real problems. GoldenGlue did not, like, unless there's something going on in the comms, that is the only thing that we can speculate, right? Like, might be a very real thing and, like, why swap him out? But the issue is I don't think that he is doing any of these shot calling things. There have been a few instances where he almost saved them, or he took probably the best case scenario for them. Although there were times where he was too far forward. I mean, it happened in both games. But I think that's something that can be coached out. I genuinely think that, like, his positioning in those 2 specific points, everyone who's watched both VODs knows what I'm talking about, that can definitely be coached out. So I'm wondering if you know, stuff just isn't being told to them. Are the players deciding like what the team comps are supposed to do? Are the players talking about like what the enemy team comp does? Are they even factoring in like color and position and state of the map and, you know, everything else that's going on? Like I don't know. But it literally looks like watching solo queue players with. It looks like you're watching experienced solo queue players by a lot of their map movements. A lot of them are. It's like watching experienced solo queue players. Doesn't look like they have direction. Doesn't look like they have a style. Doesn't look like they understand what the opponents want to do. And so when you throw all that together, it makes it really fucking difficult for me to believe that the primary problem is the mid laner. Could you make the argument that, yeah, you know, maybe fucking X, Y, and Z mid laners don't lose lane to Hui, or maybe they actually win lane against Hui? So fucking what? You have way bigger problem. I mean, look, the cancer has gone from under the skin to the fucking surface, and it's all over the entire skin at this point. Like, you have way more things to fix than your mid laner not being able to consistently solo kill or outfarm your opponent or something. And the reason that I'm saying that is because I don't believe that GoldenGlue is a part of the decisions that is making me look at TL in this way as a team. Again, though, this is only 2 games. A lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, lots of professional teams will make these mistakes. It's easy to address them in a VOD setting. It's very difficult to enforce them when players are so accustomed to bad habits and, you know, they don't have... you know, the ability to process it in real time, and this may sound like I'm giving some people cop-outs and stuff. There's a lot of teams that make errors. LCK teams make lots of errors. Although, what I am trying to say, though, is that TL's errors are a little bit worse than just making errors, because a lot of them are extremely elementary, and it just looks like there's no direction. So that's it for both of the games.